Hello, good people out there. It is Wednesday. That means it's the Wednesday night live show. We are back. We got a full out. Look at the dancing and partying there. We need some balloons. We need some shots, some jello shots. This crew.
Man. And I do have a pinata in my living room. Okay, so
there we go.
Is it full of stuff?
Full of stuff.
No, it's not, but it's a Game Boy pinata, and I only got it because of the brother. Okay, it was on sale at Walmart. So
we could. It would be a fun show if we all had jello shots, and every time someone said vape, we had to hit it. So that.
Vape.
The chat would never stop. The chat would never stop.
Exactly.
Yeah. We got a full show with you. We're going to talk a little bit about some hardware. We're going to do vaping threatens to undue gains to tackling dangers of tobacco health. Leaders warn. Yeah, they warn us. They warn us the bullshit. And I thought we'd hit on this a little bit, how to properly dispose of and recycle disposable vapes. It would be nice. It would be nice. So we've been talking about that for quite some time, having some sort of system set up. And I know that's the challenges are there with how we could do that and actually get those devices back to someone that can actually reuse the parts, I guess. Melt the plastic. I don't know, take the batteries out, you can't reuse the cotton that's in there, but there's got it. Hey, we can recycle just about anything. I don't see why this can't be completely broken down and recycled, but we'll get into that as well. We're going to go real quick over to Michelle. Michelle, how is your week going?
I'm on the podcast. No, you're okay. They all know I have a roommate. So sorry. You guys are my roommate.
Oh, I see what you're saying. No, my week's been doing really good.
You're okay,
my week's been going very good. Met a really good friend. And we had a great time. We went out and listened to music that was her relative, and we had a very good time.
Nice. I wonder who you met.
It was on the beach. Yeah, it was on the beach.
On the beach too? Jesus Christ!
Yeah.
Tim, what the hell?
We didn't get no invite on the beach.
We didn't get an invite to this Vape Expo 2025.
Second-rate co-host. I get it.
We could have done the show from the beach. What the hell? I would have brought the system out there.
Hey, we tried. Hey, we did try calling you. You didn't pick up.
Yeah.
He was 4 alarms deep into a deep.
Yeah,
that's true.
I was deep in sleep. Yeah.
It's just I'm gonna give him a screenshot, and she looks really good. I look like crap, No,
I have one that's opposite of that.
He's gonna be so disappointed that he didn't pick up the phone call.
Yeah. Johnny was deep in sleep at that point in time.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that happened and that took place. And Lindsey, you had the same week. No, I'm kidding. How's your week?
No, I mean, I met a really awesome consumer advocate, that reinvigorated. And sorry, last week that I've been on kind of like a sabbatical. Some people would call it a bender. I call it a sabbatical. I just need to take a couple weeks to reset on everything. But we're moving along forward and everything. And I met a really awesome vape advocate that's also local. So there goes the neighborhood a little bit. She's not, by the way, folks, she's not that local. I had to travel 4 hours to see her.
No, it's worth it. It's worth it. If I would have got the invite, I might have flew 7 hours to be at that beach. I need him.
You should have.
It's Gulf of America. It's
That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
honestly, the beaches down here have ruined the beaches for me around the world. I mean, if it's not emerald green waters and white sand, that's not a beach anymore. It might not have waves, but it's okay because I don't get too many.
None of us surf.
We ain't doing so good with drownings and people missing right now. So.
Yeah.
But you don't have any waves, but you have that sandbar out there, and it keeps the sharks and all away from you, so you're good.
Well, I went out on Sunday. I was out on Sunday out in the water, and because yeah, where in my area we've had like a couple drownings, like over the past month, and like young kids and like like adult people. And when I went out in the water, now one, it was warm. It was really warm. Like it felt like a bathtub out in the water. But yeah, when I was coming in, and yeah, you got sandbars, you got and then you drop down and everything. But yeah, I could feel that riptide. And like thankfully it wasn't like a crazy red flags. Yeah, and by the way, people who actually go to the beach or who don't know the beaches, when it sits there, it says red flag in there, that means there's a riptide going on. There's a crazy current and everything. And if you're
knee high is too high.
Yeah.
Just for you guys, Florida makes this list of the top 10 as number 7 in beaches.
I know.
Beaches, impressive. Yeah. Well, what's number 1? Hawaii?
Of course, Australia, where you can die from getting in the water, either from some sort of octopus or a shark.
They have vinegar out there for the stingrays, actually. So the other flag, which I learned this about like 2 weeks ago myself, the purple flag, which Michelle probably knows. Yeah, the purple flag means, marine, and I don't. And it means technically, jellyfish, okay? Jellyfish, but it does technically have like a technical term on it. Like it's like, stinging, marine life or something like that, or hostile marine life, I think is like the official title of it. But I didn't know what the hell that meant. Honestly, they came up to it a couple weeks ago. And again, we're in the middle of Pride Month. I was just like, oh, I thought that, oh, wow, this county is like actually celebrating Pride Month. I meant jellyfish.
Yep. We've had jellyfish that have like 9 feet.
LGBTQ plus J.
Plus J, jellyfish.
Have you seen what they look like? I mean, they do fit in that whole spectrum.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Oh,
yeah, they do.
Timmy, how's your week going, buddy?
It's been pretty average. I turned up the notch on the HOA maintenance this past week.
Right, there you go.
I took liberties. Yes, I did. I decided to try to benefit my community, do what I can for them. So I had the parking lot painted on Monday. I got the parking lawns painted again. That's exciting. Hold on, I'm not done. Hold on, wait, it gets better.
There's more.
I put together 6 more lounges for the swimming pool. So more butts and seats. People aren't standing around. So, as you can see.
Some more teenagers terrorizing you.
Yes, the accolades are stacking up, folks. Wait, I'm not done. I'm not done yet.
Ooh, and then, you've been busy.
And everyone in phase 2 has had to live with, I was so excited to buy my first house. And I was so excited to finally get that stamp on owning your first home and getting my own personal mailbox, because I've lived with cluster boxes a good majority of my life. And so what did the federal post office decide to do right before I closed on the house? They changed the law that said any neighborhood with 50 or more dwellings that are in close proximity to each other have to move to a cluster box. So I've decided I'm going to accept my fate. I'm probably never going to have my own personal mailbox. So I replaced the outgoing mail stickers on the cluster boxes because you couldn't see them anymore. So I scraped the old ones off and put new ones on. So yeah, I have to say I had a really full weekend this weekend.
You've had a trying week, huh?
I'm just exhausted. I just can't I can't give back anymore, Lindsay. I'm all give back now.
See, I did the opposite. I did the whole sabbatical. Just take your brain out for a minute.
Take your brains out for a party. Yeah, that's right. I do that every Monday.
And I've replaced so many mailboxes, Tim. It ain't worth it. Believe me. They don't mess with the cluster ones.
Yes, I've just accepted. But you know what? I will put the middle finger up to the man, and I'm not going to walk to the cluster boxes. I drive a block and a half to the cluster boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, that's about how far away mine is. So I get it.
You get to meet other neighbors, that are hanging out by the box. So
sure, John. That's just a great place. It replaced the water cooler in the office. Now we all just head for the cluster box at like 5 in the
when
evening.
it's 100 degrees
And just
outside.
chat for a while. So, how's your day? I don't know. What'd you get in the mail? More junk? Me too.
More junk, baby. Hey, you know.
But do you have the big large garbage can next to the cluster boxes? Because I've got
There
like
should be. There should
I've
be.
got
I
like
need
600 boxes.
I need one because for some reason I find a metric ton of rubber bands on the ground. So I guess the postman is given up to. Yeah.
Oh, somebody should play Rubber Band Man. You know, like the song from the 70s.
Yep. Hey y'all, you heard the sound of the rubber band man. Yep. I was there. Sort of, kind of. I was just a wee lad. I was just a wee lad.
Yeah.
All I know is you guys on the chat weren't there, but Lindsey has got me. I am just singing "Achy Breaky Heart" in my head now for like the last 5.5 minutes, and it absolutely driving me crazy. But and the video, I'm seeing flashes of the video.
Even worse. I do live by we're pretty close to the lake, whatever that way down yonder on the Okoguchi or whatever the name is. It gets hotter than a hoochie's coochie. Yeah, Okeechobee or whatever. Yeah, that lake is not too far away from it. Well, it's about like 3 hours away from me, but
close enough, right?
I believe that song goes way down yonder on the Chattahoochee.
Yeah.
Which the
Chattahoochee.
That's up
river.
But
the river does turn into a lake that it does like go. It's like right under like Georgia, Florida, or it's under Georgia. It's in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And the only reason I know that is because Nick Orlando had me go drive to Tallahassee one time, and I got like
on the wrong way.
Accident on I-10, so I went up. I had to get off of the highway and go up on that one. I'm like, wait, is that I was like, is that the lake that Alan Jackson sings about? And
we're taking it back. We're taking it back.
I don't think it's what he was singing about, but it was just like, again, the Southern fried. I've lived in some southern places in my life, but in Northwest Florida, it's totally taking the cake.
It's different.
We're taking it back, Lindsey. We're going to call it the Gulf of Georgia.
The Gulf of Georgia.
You ought to try southern Louisiana. Now you talk about Hicksville in areas. Oh my. Yeah. Well, you too. But
I mean, I have my thing on the whole there's I have to use a porta potty. Like if I wanted to use the bathroom on this one place on Sunday, is using a porta potty.
I was laughing so hard reading that.
Lindsey, you haven't lived until you had some of that blue water splashed on your ass. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, God.
I watched the porta potty go over during Mardi Gras one time with 3 people in it.
Yeah, it's that initial feeling. It's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, am I gonna die? Did that blue water touch me? Oh my God, oh my God. You start looking for disinfectant soaps, all kinds of stuff. It's not gonna happen, man.
And that blue water dyes your skin.
Oh yeah, it'll dye stuff, all right.
We don't want to see the pictures, John.
Yeah, we don't need visual evidence. No, that's good. Busy week for me, work, and still kind of figuring things out and moving stuff around in the house with the kids and my daughter, but it's been productive. That is it. Mr. Tim?
Yes, sir.
You know what time it is, buddy.
I do. I'm getting ready to open up a brand new box on a new disposable. And this is a special edition disposable.
Oh, hold it up towards the mic. Can we hear that snap?
Yeah, hold on. It's from Fog. It's from Fogger, spelled with one G, not one two. G, Fogger, Fogger with 1 G. But when you open it up, you know what it does? Here, listen. All right. Hey, everybody! Welcome to this week's.
You fell for it.
I like that. That's
Talking Disposable Edition. Welcome, everyone. I hope you've had a wonderful week at your HOA, just like I have. Let's see who else is out there in the wonderful world of vaping chat. I need to change her middle name for this one. just because she said it her own self. It's Mallory. Don't worry, I'm here. Gates is in the house. Good to see you, Mallory. Welcome to the show. Wait, now, do we have an imposter in the crowd right now? Is this at the e-cig source person?
Ooh, I don't know.
Is this Peggy at here? Kitty vape cats is in the house. I don't know. Why do I feel like it's Peggy at e-cig source?
I think it is. It could possibly be.
I think this is backup account number 7.
Number 7, yeah.
She's been getting banned everywhere, so I don't know. Peggy, if that's you, welcome to the show, Peggy. We got microwave left you on 1 second oven in the house. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Who else we got in here? We got, oh God, I got one. I don't even know how to. I have no beginning and I have no end. I just have. It's an acronym.
She's been on the show.
Recycle. I don't know what to say. Earn. Welcome to the show. I don't know. I ran out of ideas. I had a little brain fog there. Writer's block. Speaker's block. I didn't know what to say. We got Jeff. Oh, Danny boy in the house.
Danny boy.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. We got Greg. I just end with an initial C in the house. Greg, what's up? Greg, you must be from the UK. Are you from the UK? You say if the UK can recycle this,
yes,
we shouldn't have any problems. So Greg's either in the UK or he isn't in the UK, but he knows that the UK can recycle. So that means that us Americans need to get our shit together and start recycling. Welcome to the show, Greg. Good to see you. We got Michael, the Red Man, Redfern in the house. Good to see you, Michael. Welcome to the show. That was me. Yo, everyone. Who else we got here? And
Mr. Don.
Yep, it's Peggy at E6 Source. I knew it.
Don't forget Donnie boy. Don't forget Don.
I'm no sleuth, but I could kind of. Anyway, that's it. We got 10 in the chat. We got 10 on the show watching.
Hey, I'm trying to pimp it out more right now. Okay, give me a second to do some marketing.
Yeah. We've got a couple articles. But
Tim shows his boobs. I think that we could get more people.
Oh, yeah. Nothing better than a topless man on
my boobs.
Beachwear. Yeah.
Hey, he does have the, the like hippie rocker, beach guy, Incubus meets.
Yeah.
I hate to disappoint the crowd, though. I'm so flat you could play Moon Patrol.
Yeah.
If anybody remembers the game Moon Patrol, you would know.
I'm flat and I got no ass, so I need a belt to hold my pants up. So
it's all about that base anyway.
The curse of the 50s, right?
And I picture Tim and I, the guy at the beach with the cut off Levi's. That's what I picture. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
But what I don't have, I might not have a full assets to share, but I don't have a hairy back. I don't have a hairy back.
That's because it's still on your head. It didn't fall backwards yet.
No, exactly.
But you see, Tim, there's an advantage to having the hair on the back. You know what it is? It keeps the barnacles off.
That's true.
You like something to grab too.
Hold on, we got 2 more. We got Don the Scirocco Ayako in the house with the horns up. Good to see you, Don. Welcome to the show. And we got Robert, not on a billboard, lawyer.
Yeah.
Good to see you, brother. Welcome to the show. Welcome back.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about disposable vapes and recycling them properly. Tim, have you or anyone on this panel? I know Michelle doesn't use them. Lindsey, I think, does. But have you guys ever tried ripping one of these open?
No.
Tried what?
Trying to rip one of these disposables open. Have you tried to open it up and see the whole insides and how things?
Do that with one of these. I mean, no.
Lindsey, it's called a hammer. It's called a hammer.
I only reserve those for my boyfriends.
There's no screws. I'm not taking the chance. Besides, my tank comes off anyway. So
yeah, your tank comes off anyway. But yeah, I mean, it's a basic. We know what's inside. It's basically a battery and probably a very cheap chip and some cotton and some e-liquids and.
It's got this crap on it. Every time I hit it, if I hit it, it does this shit.
There you go.
And we talked about the recycling programs in the past.
Why the fuck do you mean that? Why do I need this flamed shit? This
Yeah,
isn't Mario.
I have no idea. I mean, next thing you know, you're going to be able to watch YouTube videos on one of these things. I mean,
If I can watch porn on it, I'd be okay with it.
Hey,
but,
yeah, if there's the Pornhub link, yeah, I don't, I
and now I have to enter in, and now I have to enter in my information.
Yeah, a thumbprint. You need a thumbprint.
Sorry,
Lindsay. What I'm afraid of is what the names will be of the flavors if they were porn editions.
Oh.
Honestly, that does sound like, two girls in one cup.
Yeah, I don't want to know the name.
Two girls and one vape. Is that
one vape. Oh my God. Yeah, I mean, I know that it has to be a full commitment from not just the vape shops, but the user, the vape shops, the manufacturer, and somebody in the middle to be able to recycle these things. I mean, it's possible, right, Lindsay? I'm going to go with you, Lindsay. It's possible to set up some sort of disposable system so these can be brought back, and even like we talked, Tim's brought it up, but like a reward program for bringing it back to the vape shop. Maybe $1 discount off the next one.
Well, it starts with the distributor, and making sure that the person who is actually, you have the manufacturer and then you have the distributor. These are the people who are responsible for these products going out there.
Right.
If they care about their environmental impact or whatnot, then they should be kind of thinking about that themselves. So, yeah, I mean, you could do a buyback program. I mean, I did come from Michigan, so we had the bottles, and then I think California, Michigan's got the 10-cent, when you buy a bottle or anything, or it's 10 cents or something for plastic Coke bottles. Yeah, you get money off of that. So a lot of people would go pick up, Coke bottles off the, side of the road, and because they could go and, deposit them and get money back. But that does come on to the state is giving you money back because the manufacturer already paid that. Right. So, and it does need to, and don't get me started on that. Go to Michelle next. And now we'll get to way too far-fetched. So sorry.
Yeah, Michelle, your thoughts. I mean, it's possible.
Oh yeah, I believe it is. If they can do it in UK, as mentioned earlier, then we can do it here. It's just a matter of we need somebody to step up and say, okay, I'll take care of it, and hire people and whatever. But I don't know of anybody that's going to do that right now.
Yeah. I mean, Tim, I don't see China stepping up and saying, yeah, we'll take them all back. So it's going to have to be some U.S. manufacturer here, somebody local that's going to have to say, hey, we'll take them all.
I'll take them. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't think China's probably chuckling at that proposal because, they're making these things at pennies on the dollar anyway. So they're like, why do I want to take back stuff I don't know what to do with? But I sincerely think that if there was a smart entrepreneur out there that could come up with some kind of a particular business of finding the channels to recycle all the components and parts, I'm sure, the vape shops would stand to have a client that would, if they had a program, they could probably find some kind of a money back situation, right? I think that the challenge that you get into, though, at least from my experience of picking up junk and stuff like that, because there's a lot of recyclable materials within that, and that if you're going to take it to the dump, which the dump recycles it, you have to pay to take that stuff to the dump. Yeah. So unless there's some money flowing backwards somewhere, then it's not profitable. But I'm sure somebody with a smart brain could figure that out.
Yeah, for me, I mean, there's a battery in there, which I'm assuming, I'm not sure what the grade level of these batteries are, where they sit in the ABC category of batteries, but I'm sure we've seen with the UK early in the war, recycle vape batteries to use for their drones. I mean, that's great.
Now I'm going to play devil's advocate.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is anybody trying to recycle dank vape batteries? I mean, there's so many underground vape products that nobody really kind of talks about it, especially like in the cannabis world, you know, yeah, you got like what, about like 25 states now, 25 to 38 states that have like, you know, I don't know, did made cannabis a little bit more accessible, but you do have, I mean, like Dank Vapes in 2019 was this completely underground market, and not a completely underground company. I remember even yelling at people in Illinois when I was living up there. Oh no, it's from Cali. It's from Cali. No, the fuck, it's not from Cali. Okay. Like there's no way in hell that Skittles is gonna literally like go, you know, put themselves on, you know, like cannabis. And that's another thing with these. The problem with disposables is the fact that you have this large. You've got a lot of like actors into this that they're not legit. I mean, I know for a fact that like Elf Bar or Puff Bar, like, you know, they quit selling in America like 2 years ago. You can go to a convenience store and find a bunch of puff bars or whatnot, and so you got these, you know, actors that are acting like they're legitimate companies when they're not. How do they do at this point like some recycling business when literally half the products on the market are illegitimate?
Oh yeah, I mean the battery's the key component. I mean all the rest of it is just plastic and cotton and some wires. But you know the battery is the main part of the problem. The plastics, I get it. I mean, let me ask you guys this question. I know there's other factors that make disposables so unappealing to the general public, and the number one thing is the way it's being recycled. Do you think this helps? Eliminate, if we had a recycling program, it kind of takes that fire away from them. It takes one extra log out of the fire that they're using against us to ease a little bit of the tension between, you know, the non-user and you know, and what we're doing, and they're landing in landfills, and there's got these batteries all over the place, and they're finding them on the streets, and kids are picking them up and using them until they're dead.
Well, I think that's the whole thing, right? I mean, well, first of all, I think if the naysayers saw the vaping community take the lead on recycling programs for disposable vapes and pushing that heavily, then they can't really say that, you know, it's just out of ignorance that we buy these things and throw them in the trash cans and throw them on the streets. I certainly think that takes away a little bit of their narrative to speak to that. So yeah, I would agree on that that side of thing. You know, but for the rest of it, you know, I mean,
I like James's idea is it could happen, James. I'm with you, man. There's a market.
Hey, that's a lawmaker. You probably shouldn't be sitting there saying that.
But isn't one of the issues surrounding it, you know, the e-liquid content, you know, the contents, it's the liquid itself. I don't know. I mean, that becomes a bit of a, I guess, you know, maybe a hazmat situation. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how they treat that sort of thing.
Well, how much could possibly be left? Will we vape these things until there's
no? I agree. I'm just saying. I feel like that was part of the argument, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't this all feel like mission creep, though? I mean, I remember, you know, like I got started in this in 2016, so admittedly, you know, not a pioneer, but I remember, like, you know, back then the biggest fear was exploding batteries.
Right. Yeah.
It's all, a lot of it seems like a lot of mission creep.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the issues with the exploding batteries came down to just, you know, uneducated
user error.
Right.
Yeah, user error. You know, shops, you know, selling devices that shouldn't have gone together. A lot of times, I think that issue.
It wasn't even that. There was you didn't have. It wasn't like you had like 10 people got freaking blown up because the shop, like, you know, sold a shitty battery or whatnot. No, it's an idiot. They want, you know, a fluke thing. It wasn't, even with the Vaping Lies stuff. Yeah, you were able to pinpoint it to a couple of different factories or whatnot that you know. And
it was.
People died. There's a cluster.
Yeah, in the beginning, it was the hybrid mods that were having issues with the RDAs that didn't have a long enough. What was the name of that pin? The pin on it.
510.
Yeah, the 510 pin were too
Mhm.
short, and that was causing the issues. And the vape shops, and again, should have realized that was going to be an issue. I think a lot of those, because if you look at some of the earlier videos, most of the time it happened like right after or in the shop. Like, I mean, immediately after leaving the shop and getting in their cars, and then kaboom, you know. So, I mean, I know that issue is taken care of. So, but for me, we're going to jump into this article on Vaping 360, Mr. Tim. And
Yeah,
it's a lengthy one, Tim. So you can either do like the quick summary of it or go through part of the
I
article.
can just I try to do some cliff notes. Want to say hello to James. He's not insane. Spillane, welcome to the show. And then we got
you learned how to pronounce his last name.
I
Way
did.
to go.
Yeah.
I learned from my mistakes.
He's been practicing
I
all
heard
week.
her, and we're doing poetry now. And then just rhyming with each other.
And then we got Neil, not in the pits.
That's not in the
house.
pits. No pits and needle. No pits and needle.
Just barnacles.
He could be in the pits. He could be in the pits. Maybe he's like into Formula One. He likes to change tires and shit. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, so we're talking about recycling, right?
That is
John?
correct.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, all right. Just making sure you and I are on the same page here.
Always, Tim. We're always on the same page.
All right.
Except when it comes to HOA stuff. No, I'm kidding.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, John's a little bit more of a Gestapo.
If I want my house purple, God damn it, I'm going to paint my house purple. Nobody's going to tell me what to do when it comes to the house.
All right, Mr. Anti-Establishment. Let's rein it in.
I'm kidding.
How to properly dispose of and recycle disposable vapes. It's an article by Andres Roman here. Quick summary. Here's your whole article right here, John.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Don't trash disposables. They contain lithium batteries, which can leak chemicals and cause fires in landfills. Many local vape shops accept used disposable vapes. Call ahead to confirm. Not mine. I already asked. Yeah. And companies like Dinner Lady, not the mailbox ladies.
Yeah.
And the SLTH offer mail-in recycling, sometimes with perks. Now, I don't know how that would work. I guess if they can mail them to you, you can mail them somewhere else, right?
Yeah.
In the UK, locate WE centers in the US and find HHW facilities through Earth 911 or call to recycle. Lithium is limited and vital for the tech industry. Recycling helps protect both the planet and future innovations.
That's true.
I'll just try to get through some of these segments pretty quickly here. While the essential advantage of disposable vapes has always been the ease of use and often avoided subject that must be at the forefront of the conversation is how to dispose of disposable vapes correctly.
Say that 10 times.
Really, as they rise in popularity. The popularity of their popularity, more and more people are getting rid of these vapes in the wrong way, which poses a threat to the environment and causes vast losses of lithium, a material that exists in limited quantities on the planet and is essential for new technologies like electric car batteries. So what can vapors do? What can you do to prevent disposable waste? In this guide, we'll show you the best way to recycle your disposable vapes and dispose of them safely and responsibly in order to minimize the impact on the environment and our limited resources. So let's just summarize. What vape devices are considered disposable vapes? Disposable vapes, i.e. disposable vape, are simple devices that come pre-filled with juice, if you didn't already know. Yes. They are intended for one time. I like it because he wrote this article where the person has no clue. They are intended for one-time use only, hence the name disposable. Once the vape juice inside these devices runs out, they must be disposed of. First disposables had low amounts of juice, 2 to 5 milliliters. The concept was that you buy a device, vape until it's empty, and dispose of it. In recent years, disposables have gotten larger, come with 15 mils of juice or more. Yes. And come with really fancy screens and all kinds of cool stuff, but not porn yet. Not porn.
We're working on it.
Shame. Shame.
And have been fitted with charging ports. So today, disposables are practically all-in-one non-refillable vapes, which I have been told that in some cases you can refill them. That's what somebody said. Somebody on the show said
I've
that.
heard that. I've heard
I
that.
don't know who you were, but
you need a syringe. You need a syringe and a needle.
This thing to like, if you have to like recharge them or something, that they're not considered a disposable.
That's
Right.
what I've heard. Yeah.
Right.
So I haven't really looked into that to know like, oh, really the nuances to it. But yeah, I mean, there is some. The disposables are working their ways around, you know, all the government.
But I think a big answer, a big resolution to a lot of the problem is to go towards like a fogger model where basically the tank comes away from the battery. So if we know this is the reusable part, I can keep recharging this as long as I buy the compatible cartridges, you know,
right.
I'm back on the road again. So,
okay, so what's the difference between that and a pod system?
Not much other than this tank is not refillable to my knowledge. I think
the pod system is that is what a pod system is, though. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. You know, you have the battery, and then
kind of like Juul in a way, but a little bit cooler and a lot more juice and I don't know. For me, a lot more fun.
You don't even have government regulations.
You don't have to be matchy. If you want to be green and orange, you can be green and orange.
Oh, that would trigger so many things.
Yeah. So anybody's OCD just got screwed up right there. Sorry, not sorry. Anyway. But no, I agree with Lindsey in the sense that it does sort of come off like a pod type system, but it's in the form of a disposable sized vape, and I just really like this product because I get to keep all the batteries, and now I've got like 6 or 7 of them, so I just keep them on a rotation on charge, and I always have a battery, and I just go to the vape shop.
That's not the same one though. Like I don't even know what the hell it is. The one that the system that you can put like all of the pods
all of them together, stackable.
No, these aren't stackable.
It's like the Legos of vaping, quite honestly. But
no, there's a lot of juice in this sucker. I'd say this is at least 15 mil in this one.
Yeah.
Oh no, this thing can get even more than that one, dude. Like I've seen some of the videos because when I first saw it in the dirt, I'm not gonna say that. And the store that I go and get my disposables at, which let's just say they're not the most kosher places. Yeah, like you can get like 15 freaking different pod systems on there. Yeah, it's gonna have a shit ton of nicotine.
Interesting. So it's like a stack mod, but a disposable.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Michelle, so you can talk more about it. I mean, I've actually I've seen the videos of it, and then I actually saw it at the place that they were selling it. I was like,
I've never had them. I've never.
The store guys told me about how people were like, just buying all of these different pods. So like the Legos.
All right. Can you throw away disposable vapes? While it is true that disposables are easy to use and anyone can pick them up and start vaping, you can't throw away disposable vapes in your nearest garbage bin. This is because every disposable vape comes with a lithium battery. Throwing these vapes in the garbage poses a fire hazard since these batteries can explode and or cause a fire when compressed. They can also release dangerous chemicals to local landfills, ultimately hurting our environment. More importantly, there are only limited quantities of lithium on Earth. You said this before, so it is in our...
Jimmy froze? He froze. Oh, there he is.
I froze, or
you froze? Yeah, you froze. But you're back. You're
at
back.
What point? At what point?
They
can also release dangerous chemicals.
Yeah.
Wow. Wait, frick back up there. Okay. Anyway. So it hurts the environment by releasing. Yeah. More importantly, there are only limited quantities of lithium on Earth, so it's a resource, right? And can be used for other things. So there is some incentive here. If you wanted to be green about this whole thing, that I think someone could mobilize on this. You can properly dispose of and recycle disposable vapes in several ways. Let's start from the simplest and move on to the most complex. Most complex being BFH, big fucking hammer, right? You're Your local vape shop, believe it or not, your local vape shop might already have a recycling program for disposable vapes. I would just suggest calling ahead if you don't already know. Maybe they do. I just know where I go currently. They don't have one. I think he said he tried to start one, but I think he said the problem that he had is that he can't find anyone to take them after the fact.
Yeah.
So then he just gets stuck with them. So he kind of had to cease that. Obviously, there are companies that offer mail-in recycling programs. I don't know if I don't use Dinner Lady products. I don't use Stealth, and I don't use Totally Wicked. So they're not helping me. But if you do use those brands, they have a mail-in recycling program. I don't know if I mean, I'm assuming it's just sort of a good faith program. Like they offer the avenue and you just send them back. They may not give you anything for your effort. Maybe give you a kickback on future purchases of products, that would be nice. I don't know. Does it say anything here? No, not really. But they don't really say whether they incentivize the user to do that. Local waste, electrical, and electronic equipment facilities in the United Kingdom. If you live, every time I say "we," I think of that pig with the pinwheel on TV in the car. If you live in the United Kingdom, nonprofit organizations like Material Focus and their campaign "Save Your Electricals," which explicitly addresses disposable vapes, help vapors dispose of their disposable vapes. God, you're killing me with these sentences by making it extremely easy to locate the nearest wee facility.
You gotta quit doing "we," okay? Because I'm gonna keep laughing. All right.
And these places take the devices apart. They remove the aluminum, the battery, and all the other recyclable materials from the device. So here's but this is UK. See, UK is way ahead. But do these become?
Hold on. The UK just banned disposables.
That's what I was going to say.
I mean, what the fuck do they even need a recycling program for when they just banned all of them?
I was going to say
for all the illegal ones.
Yep.
I mean, there's a reason why us Americans tarred and feathered those assholes, 200 years ago. But sorry.
So it says the UK banned the sale of disposable vapes on June 1. If you're a disposable user, make sure to read our UK ban survival guide, which will help you transition to more environmentally and budget-friendly refillable vapes. So anyway, trying to move people. Locate household hazardous waste facilities in the U.S. Apparently, we have something similar. In the U.S., it is more challenging to recycle these devices, but it's not impossible since every state has different regulations regarding the disposal of disposable vapes. We suggest you start with your local government. Below, you can find some great databases showing local government facilities and private sector businesses that recycle electronics and batteries. Your best bet is household hazardous waste facilities, which will be better equipped to deal with disposable vapes. You'll have to call ahead. So I don't know, John, you want to share this article out? If people want the links, call to recycle, Greener Gadgets, Earth 911, and Green Citizen. So they alert you to places like Home Depots, Ace Hardware's, Best Buys, Lowe's, which have recycling bins. But somebody just on the show said that was it Home Depot? Did I see the name Home Depot?
Yeah, Home Depot has a box right up front by the tools area that they take.
You're not allowed to put your vapes in there. They said that people used to just dump them in there, and then there was an issue. So now they have a sign saying not allowed or something to that effect. Oh, so I did read that a little bit higher up in the comments. I can't remember.
Well, that sucks.
Said it. Somebody. Oh,
they may have it.
Don. It was Don Shirako Ayako. He said Lowe's won't take them.
Jeff.
Lowe's won't take them. My work got pissed off because we were putting them in the battery recycling boxes. They took pictures and made signs. Not allowed.
Not allowed.
So yeah. Okay. All right, Lowe's.
Yeah. I don't think
Don. Don. Well, Don, you confirm that. You confirmed that in your earlier comment. At least the Lowe's that you work, the Lowe's near you.
Yeah.
Conclusion: recycling disposable vapes is extremely important and easy to do. If your local vape shops or manufacturers don't run recycling programs, it's worth checking for waste facilities in your area. If you live in the United Kingdom, facilities will take the disposable vapes and quickly recycle them. In the United States, your best option is household hazardous waste. Both of these types of businesses and facilities can easily be found with the databases provided above. All you need to do is enter your address or zip code, and your nearest or HHW facility will be shown. There you have it, folks. You can recycle. It is possible. Maybe a little bit difficult.
I have to bring this up. I used to live out in the country of a little bitty place that 100 years before used to be when there was just Indians there, literally, and a few white folks. And my property, my property used to be the dump, right? I mean, it was beautiful when I owned it, but it used to be a dump. And we were having problems because people was throwing away, you know, all kinds of things, even back then, that obviously didn't have batteries or acid or, you know, any of that stuff. But over time,
sorry.
But over time, I mean, you know, it erodes, it goes, and ethanol and or whatever it is that makes it booms, you know, underground.
What are you meaning, though? Okay, and sorry, Native American Indians or like, you know, Indians that sell us, you know,
no, Native American. Yeah,
sorry.
But either way, I mean, the problem was, you know, it still was eroding and having issues. So to say, you know, I'm sorry. I love the earth and I love everything, but you know, batteries and that kind of stuff, you know.
She's too old. She doesn't care about us millennials anymore, is what she's sitting here saying.
The problem is, I mean, you know, you've got cell phones, you've got computers, you've got, you know, ACs, you've got all kinds of refrigerators, and all that stuff goes into landfills as well, and nobody complains about them. You know. So I mean, it's not that I don't care. It's just that these are saving lives. You know, I mean, the other stuff is not. It's just comfort stuff for people.
Well,
you know,
here in Modesto, I think the recycling program is tied in with China somehow, some way. But that was an issue here in Modesto where they were complaining about the materials that were in the recycling bins that were getting China upset because they're having to pay to resort that stuff out. So they were going to start finding people here in our community that were putting things in the recycling bin that wasn't supposed to be in there because China was upset that they had to, you know, spend money sifting through the recycled garbage that was being sent to them from California. I started laughing. I go, well, how did Modesto get tied in with China? That's all I want to know. Timmy, wee yourself to the next article.
Right over to the next article. Jeff, I'm sorry that all your recycling programs haven't been working out.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm recycling toilet paper.
Yeah.
Oh no!
I mean,
no.
I support conservation, but at some point you got to say,
Yeah, and rinsing
enough.
And wash and repeat your condoms. That's not going to work for me either. That's not working.
Oh, well, I don't. We don't have time for it now. But next show, I need to tell a funny story about rubber.
Okay,
I'll leave it at that.
Oh, do not know. Come on.
I didn't say a rubber. I said rubber. I just said rubber. Anyway, it was funny. It was funny to me. It's funny to everybody around me. Maybe not so funny to you guys.
Telling me a funny story about rubber. Oh God.
Hey, y'all, you heard the sound. All right. Vapes threaten to undo gains in tackling dangers of tobacco. Health leaders warn. WHO, our favorite organization, calls for higher cigarette taxes plus graphic warnings on vapes, heated tobacco products, and nicotine pouches. Look at all that kid-friendly candy right there. Oh my God! Right above the vapes too.
Right?
Do you think someone staged that picture?
It's definitely not America.
Let's just stage that picture and make it look 10 times worse than it needs to be. Yep. Let's put the candy right on top of the vapes. Aggressively marketed vapes threaten to undo progress made on smoking control, according to the World Health Organization. Officials speaking at the World Conference on Tobacco Control in Dublin said efforts were stalling when it came to helping tobacco users to quit campaigning in the media on the dangers and imposing higher taxes on tobacco products. Young people were particularly vulnerable, it added. Countries should consider extending the graphic health warnings already required on cigarette packets to vapes or e-cigarettes. Why? Why would you do that?
Yeah.
Because you're just putting nonsense lies on packaging. Heated tobacco products and nicotine pouches, the WHO said. Man, these people are hateful. In many countries, tobacco products had become more affordable in the past decade, the report said, despite a WHO recommendation that cigarettes should be taxed at 75%. While cigarettes became less affordable in 46 countries, they became more affordable in 42 others, including 23 low or middle income countries.
My Sue's. Low middle income countries. Yeah.
I almost said Middle Earth. I was that close.
Hey,
LOTR. I was that close to LOTR.
Easy, Frodo. Easy,
Vaping
Frodo.
can cause hobbits.
And big feet.
In 133 countries, vapes and similar devices are now regulated in some way, up only from 8 in 2007. However, 62 countries apply no regulations at all. The extent of regulation varies, with almost 90% of wealthier countries either regulating or banning sales, compared with 66% of middle income and only 27% of poor countries. All right, so this is like what you see in Australia. This is what you see on the cigarette packs overseas. So they try to scare you with holes in your neck. I mean, this stuff can happen.
The only pretty much everywhere outside of America, actually. When I was in Poland a couple of years ago and I was still smoking, it's literally how I ordered my cigarettes. I was just like, oh, give me the one with the forehead lung cancer on it. The guy looked at me like it was crazy, but hey, I mean, this is your.
Well, that was my take on it. It's like you can raise the price and the taxes of them all you want. You can put all the scary pictures you want on it. It didn't deter anyone in Australia.
It deterred me when I was in Poland buying cigarettes. It's like, oh, well, just give me the one with lung cancer. I mean, you could see the top of the pack, so what brand it was, but I was also Europe, so I was a little bit more exposed to a lot more brands.
What was that? Actually, a shot down the road.
I can't find Lucky Strikes in America. No,
that's super sketchy.
Yeah. That is super sketchy, bro.
That is super sketchy. Well, anyway, the only image I really sort of take exception to is the smoking increases the risk of impotence. I just sort of feel like the naked dude in the fetal position was just not really good marketing.
It's not cocaine, assholes.
I would have much preferred to see the guy like in the shower, like in sort of a half crying,
drinking a glass of wine, drinking a glass of wine.
You know, kind of like the Ace Ventura scene, you know, when he was in the shower.
He'd be waving at his wife on the other side of the curtain. You know?
Wait! I think it moved.
Why do we not have a double warning on that label? Because it looks like that baby is choking out the mother. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Shit.
Ban children too while you're at it.
When ZampleBox is banned today, sorry, John.
It'll never happen.
Yeah. All right. Anyway. In the UK, disposable vapes were banned this month in a bid to prevent young people using them and on environmental grounds. Dr. Tedros, gosh, what you guys, we need to do something about names in this world.
I call him Teddy, actually. This is what I call him.
If I can't get through the third name, the last name, then I'm just going to refer to Ted.
Oh, his last name sounds like, gonorrhea on fucking steroids. So, and spelled even really way worse, but just call him Teddy. He's not as cool as Teddy Roosevelt. So,
this is Wednesday Night Live show, Lindsey. We're going to give it a shot, at least one. Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus.
Oh God, you got I've never heard his middle name actually.
Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus. We did it.
I don't know. It looks like Jesus and shit. Actually,
close enough.
It's close.
All right. Okay, Teddy. What'd you say? 20 years since the adoption
Call
of the
him
WHO
Teddy.
Framework
Hey, no,
Convention
it's
on
kind of like Kenny G. Call him Teddy G.
Teddy G. All right, Teddy G. I like that. It sticks. All right, Teddy
Yeah.
G said, 20 years since the adoption of the WHO Framework Convention on Tobacco Control, we have many successes to celebrate, but the tobacco industry continues to evolve, and so must we. The report highlights nicotine pouches and heated tobacco products, as well as vapes, as examples of new products. Dr. Rudiger Kreck, the WHO's Director of Health Promotion.
Rudy.
Rudy.
Rudy's a douchebag, okay? He's been a
Rudy.
douchebag for the past 2 years, but yeah.
He's the Director of Health Promotion, and they were aggressively.
That's Sam Weiss, okay, from Lord of the Rings. Okay, it's not the same fucking Aston character.
Well, it's almost like a Fruity Krueger kind of name, so Freddy Krueger.
No, it is like Rudy Krueger. No, he's terrible, and also all of everything that he fucking sits here and says is literally just bullet points that have already been like made from like the CTFK and Bloomberg, whatever elites. There's not actually any analysis or whatnot. And then I mean, Rudy came out last year, and I was just like, man, we all need to go after this guy, but I'm just a woman. Go on.
So this is Freddie's younger, shorter brother, Rudy Krueger.
Well, no, he's like the real Rudy from Rudy, like the movie.
Yes, he has metal sporks on his fingertips. He said national regulators could not be expected to deal with an onslaught of thousands of new products, which represented an attempt by tobacco companies to focus attention away from their major business of traditional tobacco. He added, he had more to say. Everyone, hold on to your. However, that it was hugely important to regulate these new products because they are attracting children and young people to actually use nicotine, and that's with the addiction that it brings. Oh God, sir, which he said would lead to tobacco. He threw out every. There's the
Rudy.
gateway.
I mean, he tried so hard.
He did. He tried real hard.
That is not available for all countries, though. That's it.
Hold on. That's right, Steve. It did take me a little while to get there. That's right. I think I fell in line pretty quickly. As soon as I had the middle name down, it was Tottenham. It comes naturally.
G. We're calling him Teddy G from now on, okay? I'm totally down with that one.
I like that one.
Okay, well, we don't care about your gateway statement, sir, which he said would lead. Yeah, we said that. Data is not available for all countries, but survey suggests top 10 answers are on the board. About 6% of children aged 13 to 15 used e-cigarettes.
Where? America? Where this is like overarching? Like around
everywhere.
The world,
it's an everywhere statement, right? So that's not a lot of kids.
It's also bullshit because like half the countries don't even have access to doing that data. Yep. I know. I've looked at it.
Yes, I'm confident you've looked at it. The WHO report on the global tobacco epidemic once again focuses on 6 tobacco control measures and rates countries on how far they have implemented them. These include taxation, introducing smoke-free air legislation, and offering smokers help to quit. That's 3. Other measures include monitoring tobacco use and prevention policies, bans on tobacco advertising and sponsorship, and warning people about the dangers of pack labels and information. Since 2007, 155 countries have implemented at least one of the 6 measures at best practice level. The report found with 4 countries, Brazil, Mauritius, the Netherlands, and Turkey, implementing the full package. Now, my wife tells me readily, she's like, yes, vaping is banned in Brazil, but you can get it anywhere.
Yeah.
You can get it anywhere.
Australia.
However, 40 countries have no measure at best practice level, and more than 30 countries still allow cigarettes to be sold with no mandatory health warning. It means billions of people remain unprotected from the ill effects of tobacco, which claims kills more than 7 million people a year. the report warned. Don't you think maybe the people in those countries where they smoke, they have no warnings on the package, that somebody along the way said, that's bad for you. It could kill you. I'm pretty sure they've been warned. Yeah, I'm pretty sure everybody's been warned at least once.
Yeah, that's the same guy. That's the same guy that asks if he has an extra cigarette he can borrow.
Yeah. Can I bum one though? Allison Cox, director of policy.
Then you also have to give them your lighter too. So it's
Ooh, do you have a light? I don't.
Ban lighters. Ban lighters.
There's some sense of satisfaction now when somebody comes up and like, hey, you got a lighter? Nope, a vape.
They ban lighters. They ban lighters.
Solve that lighter problem too. Quit smoking and quit lighters.
Yeah, they banned lighters in high school. My son got suspended for having a lighter in his backpack.
Wouldn't he have been suspended if he had a pack of cigarettes?
He didn't have the cigarettes on him, but he had the lighter. So they
hey, I mean, you can't, light.
That could have been for something else.
That's what I said. I said it's a survival kit. I mean, in case he's, the zombie apocalypse happens.
Those are called matches. At that point, I've never seen I've never seen a lighter in like a survival kit. I have seen packs of matches.
Is that the new form of the defibrillator, Mallory? A swift kick in the ass.
Yeah, that one works.
Like we don't need an electrical shock. We just
and sometimes your foot can get stuck up in that ass too. So
just wind up.
Be careful.
Yeah, gotta watch out for that.
Raising taxes is one of the most effective measures that offers governments a triple win of reducing tobacco consumption, saving lives and healthcare costs, or raising much needed revenue. I don't buy that for a second. I did not see any slowdown in the smoking in Australia, and they were at Aussie dollars, about 25 to 30 bucks a pack.
The last statement you just read there, the whole raising revenue. I didn't realize that raising cigarette taxes was supposed to be a revenue generating measure. On that part, that's what pisses me off, and also whenever they raise cigarette taxes, they get an increase. Most of the time, not really. Recently, not as much as they used to get. Looking at the numbers and everything, but it just goes down. So it's not even this is raising revenue. It's not. You can't rely on that revenue.
Well, in all fairness, if they want to make it a revenue-driven situation, then why cut out vaping, which is likely more popular? You could make money off of this for the states or for the countries or their whatever.
Yeah, but do you think there should be an excise tax on vaping devices?
No, I'm not suggesting raise the tax. I'm saying allow people to still continue forward at the standard tax rates, and you still have that money coming in. But now you're getting rid of the product that people can buy it, so no tax money comes in. So they're gonna raise taxes somewhere else to make something else cost more money.
Right?
Like you could help the community by not raising your taxes, keep the taxes lower, but still offer products available for people to buy and get your revenue at the same rate.
Economics 101.
Forward thinking, so and I hate raising taxes.
I don't want raising.
What would be?
It's just for me. It's they're so concerned about the rising cost of living, and and now what they're doing in Australia is they're making people decide whether to eat or buy a pack of cigarettes, and it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
I saw a great picture the other day. It was
insane. But it's always been insane. This isn't anything new. Nope. Their cigarette taxes have been high for the past 5 years.
Yep.
Yeah, but Microwave made a really good point too, and that is that if you continually work to raise taxes on things, and naturally everybody goes to the unregulated market. They go somewhere where they don't have to pay tax, so they lose. They want more money from you, but they don't get that money because everybody's backdooring it, right?
Yeah, you're going underground at that point. The underground market.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, we're out of time, but we wanted to talk a little bit about hardware.
Yep.
Hardware.
Yes. Yeah, because Michelle knows a lot about hardware. Actually, I didn't know that until a couple nights ago and stuff.
we talked a little bit about,
we'll send the OnlyFans video link up once we actually get it, edited.
We brought up hardware before, and I think one of the problems that we're seeing right now is we don't have a lot of innovation like we did before. And right. Yes, when I say innovation, as far as chips and battery life and stuff like that, I know that we also lost like options when it comes to colors and all this other nonsense that we used to have before when it came to buying a vape device. Did you want a blue one? Did you want a red one? Did you want a green one? I mean,
and that's important to me. I'm sorry. But if I'm going to carry it, I want it to be nice. I want it to look nice.
Well, in the beginning, we had chrome, black, and copper.
Red. Sometimes had red. Yeah.
And I think, with, I think one of the, I can go back. I think one of the first RDAs that started flashing color around, I think it was the Dead Rabbit, when you started seeing, okay, you get a Dead Rabbit in black, you get it in purple, you get it green. Yeah. But as far as like the hardware side of it, I'm curious, everyone out there, I know a few of you. I know Mallory is a big user of a device, a 18615 dual device or an RDA. I mean, how many of you guys are still using those devices, and are you happy with what you're having that you're offered? I mean, we don't have this situation we did like 10 years ago where within 6 months, version 2.0 was out. And then 6 months later, version 2.25 was out, and slight little changes to devices, RDAs, the way that we screwed the coils down, all this stuff was going on. And I kind of looked around the other day and I was like, okay, you know what? I want a new device. And I started looking around and I was like, these are my options. There are not that many options out there for whether it's a dual 18650 or a single 21700 device, but I didn't see a lot of options, and I'm just kind of wondering how many of you guys are still using devices that require an 18650 battery, and you actually buying coils or making your own coils. Mm-hmm. I mean, I still use mine. I use my disposables a lot during the show because I don't want to be dripping in front of everybody while I'm vaping. So I can't stand that. I just I didn't want to keep going as I'm doing the show. So I use my vape device. And when I'm not, I use this. And I'm still using, my devices, my 18650 devices. But like I said, I looked around the other day and I went, I don't know if it's just because what's available in California, but I didn't see a lot of new devices. I didn't see a lot of devices that kind of is like, ooh, I want that. You know what I mean? Have you looked around, Lindsey? Have you looked at websites and tried to look at devices? Did anything catch your eye? I mean,
me?
And how important is color?
Okay. First of all, I usually use a Sorin as the pod device. So that's the one thing that got me off of like cigarettes. But I've been using disposables because they're just easy, cheap, and convenient. And then going out to places are everything. But I've never. In 2016, when I started working on vaping issues, I remember all of you people with your big mods, and they're still just a little bit daunting to me, I guess. On that part. I still don't know, and I hate admitting it, but I have to admit it. I still don't know exactly how to explain to lawmakers the difference between PG, BG, some of this stuff. But as much as we all hate Juul, I do think that Juul, in showing the way that the market and showing the way the device could be a little bit more accessible to the idiot user like myself, really helped.
Yeah. I mean, too, if we're trying to explain to them the difference between the two and making them understand the science that goes with being by using a rebuildable, understanding Ohm's law, understanding, what wire you can use and can't use, how to build these coils. I mean, there's a process of going from disposable, or let's just say that's where it seems like it's going. I mean, some people that are using disposables, are they the types of people that are going to make that transition backwards to our rebuildables, and and trying to find that, that's in some places in the United States, I think that's the route it looks like it's going, and disposables, you're right, disposables did make things cheaper. I mean, but I still think buying your own lead liquid,
Yeah,
and
it's not even cheaper and more accessible.
more
And then
accessible.
with the disposables, there's the pod system, the
Yeah.
Juul. I mean, that literally, I remember too, when all the vapors were like, pissed off about the Juul and like, oh, this is never going to go anywhere and stuff. But it comes out to what's your mission statement at the end of the day. As a tobacco harm reduction, do you want to get as many people who smoke to move to a different product, or, that one that's like less harmful, or are you all about like, oh, if we're only going to get the smokers to go out, then, they only go to this one, product device.
Yeah. No. I'm just gonna kind of share the screen here real quick. Not promoting Element Vape in any way, shape, or form here, guys. That's just the first. It's always the first company that comes up when I type in vape mod. So, I mean, this. I don't remind me later. Okay, there you go. I mean, this is what we have, and a lot of this stuff I think has been around for quite some time. So, how did I get rid of that? I agree. Whatever. I mean, a lot of this stuff has been around for quite some time, just a different name, maybe. Does any of these excite you, Tim, like it used to in the days?
I have an Odin, so I'm already good there.
Yeah.
Me too.
I mean, I see a couple every now and again. Some of the stuff has been around for a long time. The Hammer of God's been around for a long time.
Forever.
I did like the one that Vapors Cloud was selling. It was like the purple one. I think it's the one that's laying down behind the black one. I really dug that mod. I like some of the side by side looking ones. Like the what that 108 Vapors Cloud Parsons. That looks kind of cool. I see them every now and again. I see them pop up, but most of the time they just become exponentially harder to find. There isn't always.
See, that's what I go for, is something that's like Anakin or something that's going to be around for a long time. Yeah. And I can find, I'm not a builder, I don't have patience for that. So, I want coils. So I want the coils to be around for a long time, and I want a good,
you're a sub tank user.
Right. So, I go for the old, ones that's been around forever. And Anakin is a really good brand that lasts forever, and you can still find all of that stuff.
Yeah. So, no, I'm with you there.
And I want purple if I can,
Yeah. See there, purples, for you. That's
I want
important.
purple.
and look, open system is still if that's a sub ohm tank for you where you have to buy coils, I still it's still an open system, and I use sub ohm tanks myself from time to time when I'm feeling lazy, and and I don't want to build something, but most of the time, like I'm not like I used to be in the very beginning, where once I learned how to make my own coils, I would use that all the time. Yeah, I would use that time at night to make coils, which like for me, it helped me get the urge from smoking out of my system, because I was still using my hands making these coils and doing what I would fill mason jars up at night. I would make coils for an hour and just sit there and make coils and throw them in these mason jars. And, I would get them out when I needed them. And once I learned how to, do a Clapton, I learned how to do the Clapton. I would make Clapton coils, and then I would learn, different types of coils and try to, now is everybody going to do that? I don't think so. I think it's, but for me, I think, I don't see any innovation. I don't see anything that draws me to these devices. I don't see, one of the things that we were promised for a long time was battery efficiency, and coming up with mods that were going to be more efficient with batteries and have an 18650 last longer. And it seemed like they went away from that and just gave us a bigger battery. and and then change the devices again. So, I mean, for me, I would like to see. I've gotten so used to disposables now that I don't want this big thing in my pocket. I really don't, because I can put this thing in my pocket, and I don't want to have to carry this around in my pocket that's going to leak eventually because it gets hot in your pocket, because I'm a hot guy, so I build up heat. I'm Italian, so I'm constantly, like an oven. So, so for me, I think that's the most important part. I think colors are going to be important if you're going to get people to switch over from disposables to open system. I think having options, and believe it or not, colors are important to us. So just like flavors are, I think having having devices that we can personalize for ourselves, right. I think is important. I think it's a part of us that. Look around at everything you do. We do it to our cars. We do it to our homes. We do it to our clothes. Everything. I mean, even to our bodies. Some of us are bejeweling ourselves. I don't know. Is that still going on? Is the bejewel thing still going on?
Tattoos. I mean, how many vapors have tattoos?
Yeah. I was still thinking. My mind went somewhere completely really bad with the bejewel thing. So.
I know. My head went way far too on the
I know.
Thing.
Lindsey,
I imagine all places you'd like to be bejeweled at.
Yeah. I think we share a brain, Lindsey. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, I mean, I think that's it's going to come down to. I don't think Tim. I think maybe Tim agrees with me. I don't think we need mods that hit 250 watts. I don't think we even need a mod that hits 100 anymore. I think if you can come up with a mod that's battery efficient, give us the colors we want, 100 watts.
Oh, wait, okay. I'm gonna play devil's advocate on this one. Fuck that, dude. This is America. If you want that, knock yourself out. I mean, I don't think it should be like we should get a PMTA for it. I mean, but we don't have any of the. There's only been 76 products that have gotten a PMTA authorization.
Right.
And like only 33 of them are actual the vaping products. So I mean, there's a question of. I mean, I think the industry's done really good at self-regulating itself in a sense, but at the same time. At what point are you just self-emulating or emulating, however you pronounce it, where you're just lighting yourself on fire to be something.
But I think you see
with the disposables too. I mean, disposables have done, I sit honestly between a rock and a hard place between disposables. Okay. They completely violated everything. I did the $20 an hour PMTA. None of these assholes even registered with the FDA, let alone filing a PMTA. But they also are responsible for getting a lot of people to quit smoking.
Yeah. No, I'm with you 100%. I think the disposable needs to be part of the market. Don't get me wrong. I think it needs to be because there are individuals.
It's just we have to somebody needs to more people than just me needs to be talking about this though. And the fact that I mean, this is tobacco harm reduction working in action. I mean, if our whole thing was to eliminate, cigarette sales, it's these fucking assholes that this bullshit that, totally completely illegal, but they,
No, I'm with you 100%. I mean, that was in the early days of Juuls, that was their marketing was brilliant because they grabbed a market that didn't want to carry a big mod around, didn't want to carry juice around. They were guys in suits working in offices that wanted to quit smoking, and this was an easy way to conceal a device, have a vape, control their nicotine problem.
Juuls.
And they just went off. They went a whole different route after that. But I think that I saw more Juuls in the beginning being used by people in San Francisco that were in suits and business people. And I think that was
the pod system. I mean, I remember when I first got started and doing research in NTHR. I remember in 2018, and everybody was like, "Oh, the pod system, it's never gonna work."
Yeah, it won't work.
Yeah, and they all hated Juul. I yelled. I was sitting there trying to like pimp out something like with a conference for like some like series with like Heartland or something, and I'm like screaming at a person in a vape shop, and he's like, because oh yeah, it was a Juul conference. Like the person was this Juul executive and stuff, and there was a Juul behind this asshole's fucking head. And so I had to sit there and like yell and like, oh, Juul sucks, blah blah blah. It's all open system. And I'm like, dude, literally, you have a Juul. You are selling Juuls right behind you. Sorry.
Tim dropped out. Tim lost his connection. Hey guys, we are done. I think we'll do a little bit more next week on the hardware side of it. I would like to get into that because I think that this is an opportunity for I don't know if China jumps on board and puts out I'm sure there's some great innovation that they've been holding back. Yeah, they've been holding back on as far as maybe just this market. I'm not sure if it's just the US market or devices somewhat different in the UK that they're able to get there and other places in the world that are not offered here. But I think it's an opportunity that's going to have to be addressed at some point in time because the way things are going with disposables in each city, each county, each state is finding a way to ban these devices. Yes, you can go get them on behind somebody's trunk of their car or in some alley. I get that. But I think there's an opportunity to bring some of those people that want a little bit more flavor, want a little bit more. That was the thing with the open system is more flavor, more choices. And just bigger clouds. I hate saying that word, but bigger clouds, but yeah, I mean, I'd like to dig into it a little bit. Maybe next week we'll dig into that.
Michelle knows a lot about it. Okay.
Yeah. So we'll dig into that, guys. Yeah. So, ladies, it's just us. Tim lost his internet connection, I think. Georgia thing. It is fucking Georgia.
I hope I wasn't too crazy.
Hey, that was my first cuss word. 1 hour and 22 minutes in, and I said the word F. All right, that's good.
Okay. That's okay. Yeah, I'm good. Doing good. Yeah,
good. FTW. All right, ladies, look into the camera and wave goodbye to well, thank you everybody out in chat. We appreciate every single one of you guys. We'll see you guys next week. Ladies, look into the camera. Say goodbye.
Bye. Love y'all.
Wait. Say we. Wee.